So here I am, all snuggly in the back of beans, all set to talk to you about the history of Algeria. You might be asking yourself, why Algeria? A couple videos back, I told you guys that whoever commented first would get to pick the next country that we did. And guess what? Delancey won, and he decided to pick Algeria. So this one's for you, Delancey. Here's the history of Algeria. So the history of Algeria begins with three ancient empires: the Byzantine, the Roman, and the Phoenician Empire. One of the national languages actually stems from those three empires. Berber is the name of one of the official languages. The other official language is Arabic, and French is sometimes used. Now, why French? Well, the country was actually occupied by France up until 1962. After Algeria won its independence from France, they decided to set up a government, and in some ways, their government is kind of similar to ours. There are over 1,500 communes, and those communes are kind of like cities or counties, something kind of like that. And then there are 58 provinces, and the provinces are sort of like states. And the regional leaders all report to what we would call as kind of a president, and they have some other leaders and leadership in between that kind of works together to be able to pass laws. The effects of that government have actually made Algeria a really rich nation. They have tremendous natural resources, and they've capitalized on the oil that they have there to be able to create an economy that is middle to upper middle income. In 1991, there was a civil war that took place in Algeria, and the guy who was president at that time ended up staying president because they had to cancel the election. Part of the reason why they canceled the election was because of the civil war and the Islamic extremists who wanted to take over power without actually going through the process of voting. Now, what the guy did is pretty cool. Before he ended up being voted out in 1999, he actually gave amnesty to anybody who said that they did not back the Islamic extremist group, or anybody from that group who changed sides and said, hey, listen, being extreme is probably not a good idea. Pretty cool move on his part. Hey, wait, do you know what amnesty actually means, or giving amnesty? If you know what the definition of that means, put it in the comments below, because that's something serious when we're talking about political unrest in a certain country. The current president of Algeria has really worked to create stability in the country. He's definitely pro-Algeria, and boy, oh boy, does he talk about how beautiful the country is. And take a look at some of these pictures. It definitely is a beautiful country. It is one of the hardest visas to get in the entire world, which makes people really want to believe what the president is saying, but they're still a little bit anxious. There's quite a bit of terrorism that takes place in Algeria, and there's the chance of people from the West kind of being kidnapped. So people go there, but they usually go in groups, and they definitely have a tour guide. Since the bulk of Algeria is occupied by the Sahara Desert, I feel like we should probably talk a little bit about that. So the Sahara Desert has two climates, one in the north, which is kind of arid but somehow tropical, and then one in the south, which is like arid, and super duper dry. The really cool part about the Sahara Desert is that it actually supports some life. As you can see from this picture here, you can actually grow melons, which is kind of neat. And because of the oases that exist, nomads from the past were able to actually herd sheep and camels and different animals that they could then trade with people who lived outside of the desert, so that they had food and water and everything that they needed to survive. After World War II, it was discovered that there was a ton of oil under the Sahara Desert. And because of that, the West definitely has an interest in that country. Did you know that there are sand dunes in the Sahara Desert that reach up to 500 feet tall? Can you imagine sledding down one of those? Anyway, this video was a ton of fun to do, and I learned a lot about a country that I didn't know anything about before. Great job, Delancey, and I can't wait for us to get to our next video, because I really want to give you guys a poll. So make sure to stay tuned so that you can see it, and then we'll do Antarctica after that. All right, have a great night. Bye!